We have some major breaking news right now. The Target protests and boycotts are working. Target sales plummeted during the first quarter of 2025 by 3.8%, primarily because of the protests and boycotts because of Target's shifting stance on diversity, equity, and inclusion policy. The company today literally admitted in a filing that one of the big reasons why its sales fell in the first quarter of 2025 was because of the boycotts and the protests. The company also noted that Trump's tariffs are going to rise costs for consumers and it's going to push up costs for the company. I've received numerous messages from Target employees who have told me that they have seen less people in their stores, that they have received less sales at individual stores across the country, and now we are seeing that these boycotts, these protests are actually working. Spread the word. As always, I'll have a full breakdown of this on my Substack, link to my bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come.
Welcome back to our channel AI Crystal. Today, let's critically talk about Target losing billions after boycott and tariffs, what really happened, what it means for consumers and the broader economy.
Target loses $15.7 billion since it ended its DEI initiatives. I'll give you 3 things about that. Number 1, the Montgomery bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama lasted 381 days. Target announced it was ending its DEI initiatives on January 24th. Today's February 18th. This is less than a month of people being deliberate and choosy with how they spend their dollars. With the access to information we have and the reach we all have collectively on social media, imagine what we can accomplish in 381 days. Thing number 2. This money is going somewhere else. I've seen lists by the NAACP and other organizations that highlight companies that have doubled down on their DEI initiatives. These are companies like Costco, Ben & Jerry's, JP Morgan Chase that have rebuffed pressure from conservatives to scrap their DEI initiatives. Thing number 3, this shit works. There is nothing organizations born out of capitalism understand more than market trends. And nothing lights a fire under a CEO's ass more than loss of market share and revenue. These companies only care when it affects their wallet. If you're looking to be heard, that's how you make them hear up.
So let's talk about the Target boycott for a second. Look, last few months, the Target boycott has been really effective. Target's revenue, stock prices are way down. And it's all because they rolled back their DEI programs. People weren't happy about that, so they stopped shopping there. And, you know, I'm a little sympathetic to the Target CEO and their leadership because, look, if you have DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion, half the country is going to be upset with you. And if you roll those back or if you show that you're not sympathetic to DEI sorts of situations, half the country is going to be mad at you. It's hard to know what to do. Yeah, Target had to make a decision. Should we side with people who celebrate diversity, who celebrate love, allyship, inclusion, and basically want to support marginalized communities? Or should we roll all that back and show the people who are joined together by their mutual hatred of other people? Should we endorse that and celebrate those people? Really hard decision, wasn't it, Target? Well, you fucked it up really good. And I'm actually not sympathetic because you showed your ass and you're paying for it.
The CEO of Target took a 45% pay decrease. His salary was cut by almost 50% because of how terribly they're doing right now. And you want to know what the craziest part about it is? Because I did some research. I'm trying to look up, because he's still getting paid almost $10 million a year. But this is a gag. So obviously Target's not doing well because they cut their DEI programs, and most people were upset. A lot of companies did, but most people were upset because Target was so intentional, and it seemed like they genuinely cared about DEI, people of color, women, the disabled. Like, their activism seemed very intentional, especially after the unaliving of George Floyd, right? So while I'm doing my research, I see that the man's highest salary, like his peak salary, was after that happened, after everything happened with George Floyd. So isn't it ironic that when you were supporting, DEI initiatives and, being intentional about supporting, marginalized communities, you made the most money of your career with Target? But as soon as you roll back, and you literally didn't have to, but you showed how you truly felt, now you're making, almost the least of your career. You took almost a 50% pay cut. Is that not super crazy? I don't think Target will ever recover. Even if they got a new CEO, I think they're done. obviously Target's not going to close, but they've lost a lot of customers that I don't think there's anything that they can do to get them to return.
Okay, so the question is, did the Target boycott and the Walmart boycott work? Well, I tell you what we know. We know that Target had an extremely large loss, $15 billion, after getting rid of their diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives. We know that some shareholders are suing because they got rid of the initiatives, and we know some shareholders are suing because they had the initiatives. Now, this raises a critical point for me. A company ought to be able to make decisions without the federal government getting involved and trying to dictate how the company sells to consumers. In other words, if Target wants to sell to Black consumers, to LGBTQIA consumers, they should have the right as a business to do that, and they're not harming anyone else by doing that. Now, what about Walmart? Well, Walmart saw a single drop of the worst day in more than a year Thursday, with billions knocked off the net worth of the owners of Walmart. They are the world's largest firm. Now, in this article that I'm looking at talking about this, they're like, oh, well, you know, there's the economic uncertainty, there's tariffs, this and that. They never want to talk about the boycott. The boycott of Walmart or Target isn't going to be the only thing, but in a volatile market, that boycott, those boycotts matter, because no one is too big to fail. And people of color and those who are disabled, those who are LGBTQIA, we need to spend our money where people treat us like we're human beings and do not engage in arbitrarily pulling back from us as either employees or as consumers. And so February 28th is the next time to see what we can do. So February 28th is the blackout day, and February 28th they're calling for an economic boycott for 24 hours of not spending discretionary money at major retailers, especially those who are scaling back on diversity, equity, inclusion. And I know we can do it. Shop the day before. You know, if you have something you absolutely need that day, of course, but discretionary spending for 24 hours. We have to pool our dollars. You know, the Montgomery bus boycott was basically pennies, nickels, dimes, and it lasted for 381 days. And people laughed at them. I've had people in my comments saying, nobody cares about your money. You're not going to do anything. All of us together can do something. Walmart needs that money, especially in volatile times. Target needs that money. And we have to say, we have ears. We can hear you talking about us like dogs, calling us unqualified, saying we don't belong in places. We can hear that. And we are not going to spend our money at places where people believe that about us. So did the Walmart boycott work? Did the Target boycott work? I believe they did. They may not have been the only thing, but they have been a tipping point. Let me tell you something. Walmart is the largest major retailer and has won every quarter. And, you know, they are really seeing the impact. They'll never admit it. Target may not admit it, but I bet you they'll admit it after 381 days. I bet you they will admit it February 29th if we get serious about this no discretionary spending on February 28th. And then we need to find out where we can spend our money. Are there other folks out there? eBay, what you got? What's going on at eBay? Can we count on you? Who can we count on? And who can we push our trillions of dollars toward? Since people are literally going to play in our faces,
Background. What triggered the collapse? Target, one of America's biggest retail chains, has been hit hard in 2025, facing massive losses tied to two powerful forces. 1. Widespread boycotts. Sparked by controversial decisions from product choices to political stances, many conservative and moderate shoppers began boycotting Target. Social media campaigns went viral, with hashtags urging people to stop shopping there. Foot traffic dropped drastically in hundreds of stores nationwide. 2. Tariff pressure. With Trump's aggressive return to tariffs, especially on imports from China and Mexico, the cost of goods skyrocketed. Target, heavily reliant on affordable imports, couldn't absorb the price hikes without passing it on to consumers. Shoppers already frustrated by inflation were turned off by rising prices. The financial hit. Reported loss. Over $7 billion in market value wiped out in a matter of weeks. Sales slump. 15 to 20% drop in quarterly earnings reported. Stock crash. Shares fell to the lowest point since 2020. Supply chain chaos. Tariffs disrupted long-term supplier deals. Inventory shortages worsened due to international delays and higher shipping costs. Target's attempt to shift to USA-based suppliers backfired due to higher production costs. Store closures and layoffs. Over 300 stores identified for potential closure. Thousands of employees at risk as profit margins vanish. Some locations already operating on reduced hours or skeletal staffing. Consumer confidence and brand damage. Public trust in Target has declined. Many loyal customers left confused about the company's direction. Shoppers looking for alternatives like Walmart, Costco, or local discount chains. Final thoughts. Target's downfall is a perfect storm of political backlash, trade policy failures, and economic stress. It's a warning to all major USA retailers. Public perception and global trade are now more powerful than ever. What do you think about this Target crisis? Are you still shopping there? Comment below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to AI Crystal for more in-depth breakdowns on America's economic shocks. We deeply appreciate all our returning subscribers. You're the heart of this channel.